Blattner, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Richard, ladies and gentlemen.
He's 27 years old. I have socks that are longer. I was born and raised in Lima, Ohio. Vibrant industrial city of 50,000 people. And my family owned a department store selling furniture, clothing, and appliances to working families. $1 down and $1 a week, and strictly credit. They wouldn't know how to handle cash. My father, his two brothers, and my grandfather were great teachers. I learned so much from them. I swept the floors, I stocked the shelves, I moved merchandise, I sold merchandise, I delivered merchandise, and then in summertime I collected money. But people trusted us. The best part of it was we trusted them. And I'd take these collections out to people who were working, they left their money on the kitchen table. Doors wide open for the Blattner man to go in and collect the money. It was very interesting. When I was in junior high, my father became concerned about, I don't know if it was a lack of discipline on my part or what, but he sent me to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist ran me through a battery test. You may have been through that yourself. And he determined that vocationally, I was either going to be a gas station attendant or a rabbi. That was my reaction. I don't think it was my father's reaction. But what happened was when I went to college, and during the summer, I got a job at the Standard Oil Refinery in Lima with other college guys, and we dug ditches, and we built sewers around the retaining tanks and so forth. Great job, great job. Working outside, I had a hard hat, a lunch bucket. What could be better? And I learned responsibility, or more responsibility. But something funny happened. It wasn't really funny, but the last day of my job, HR called us in and they wanted us to sign our final papers and get our final paycheck, but we would wash the executives' cars while we were waiting. That's fine with me. So I started to wash the cars, and all of a sudden, the guys that I'd worked with for 2 or 3 months started harassing me. What are you, a suck-up? Why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. While I washed the cars, they hosed each other and threw soap around the building. And I was heartbroken to believe that people didn't have the same work ethic that I did. But I went into the Army, and I was stationed in Seoul, Korea, with 40 of the greatest guys in the world who lived in a Quonset hut, hot in hell in the summer and cold in hell in the winter. Got out of the Army, went to Chicago, got married, still am, took a job in Chicago, and ultimately I went to work for Xerox. It was a hot company with an incredible product in the 60s, some of you will remember. And I became a sales rep. 4 promotions later and 4 moves from city to city, we ended up in San Francisco, which everybody wanted to go. That's everybody's favorite city. I loved the city. I loved the house we lived in, but I hated the job. I hated the job. And so after a year, we negotiated a settlement agreement. I left and came back to Hollywood. And I went to work for a company in Miami Lakes that made copiers. And I was looking at the profit and loss statement of the Miami branch, and there was an anomaly there that didn't look right. So I had breakfast the next day with the vice presidents, and I showed them the evidence of fraud. They turned Arctic white and said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to get off the road. I've been traveling for 3 years." And they said, "Fine." Shortly thereafter, the Securities and Exchange Commission came in because the FBI closed down a massive money laundering operation. I'm embarrassed I didn't catch it. So I took my last $14,000 of Xerox money and I opened Suncoast Marketing in 1997 and sold it to the partners in 2000. Now going back, a picture there on the left side, that's Sally Driven. Sally Driven and I went to kindergarten together in Lima, Ohio, and she became a nun and a nurse. And her husband called me in 1990 and asked me if I wanted to be on Hollywood's Community Development Advisory Board, whatever that was. It sounded fine with me. I loved that job. I got to know my city backwards and forwards. We looked at rehab houses. We helped people find jobs. We helped people move into houses if they couldn't otherwise for it. It was a great job. I became the chairman. I loved it. In 1992, one of the commissioners who had chosen not to run again asked me to run the Hollywood City Commission. Well, I'd be flattered, wouldn't anybody? So I decided to do that. Then I looked at who my opponent was, and it was an incumbent. She was unbeatable, and I said, thank you, but no thank you. But there was another seat open, and I would run for that. They laughed at me and told me, don't bother, we have another candidate for that job. Well, I ran anyway, and predictably, I lost. But I won in '94, I won in '98. I was districted out in 2000. I lost in 2002, I lost again in 2006, I won in 2007, 12, 18, I finally lost in 2020. But opportunities do knock twice. And I found that since I've retired, I've been very busy. I'm chairman of the Affordable Housing and Resiliency Committee, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'm on the city's Planning and Development Board, and several other things. So I have found that, well, retirement wasn't my first choice. I'm 88 years old, and I don't play golf. So here's my takeaway from all this, is that life is not linear. It's serpentine. And if you can keep your goals in mind when you negotiate the curves, you'll be just fine. And in closing, let me remind you of what Admiral Farragut said during the Battle of New Orleans. I know none of you were here. It's okay, it's not a trick question. He said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Thank you.